Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
Now, Mr. J, you have mentioned at the first segment, this is kind of like spring in a lot of ways, but a point you've made in the past too is that this is one of the most ideal times to plant because it is almost like it gets 2 growing seasons before our famous summer hits.
Right. So the reason fall is great is because the soils don't cool down or warm up as nearly as fast as the air. So you still have soils that are relatively warm compared to the air temperature. If you can plant a plant into a warm soil situation while the air temperatures are as cool as they are, which that's what stresses plants out is hot air, and they transpire and lose moisture and wilt. Everybody's seen wilty plants when it's hot. Well, they don't do that near as rapidly as when it's cool and the days are shorter. So you have an incubator in the soil, keeping the soil warm, and the roots will start taking root, even though the air temperatures are cool. And if you can get the plant rooted, everybody may or may not know, but a plant really won't start pushing new growth on top until the roots start to establish. So you plant a seed in the ground. The first things generally they do is the roots start to pop out of the seed and start taking root, and then the cotyledon or the top or the shoot will come out through the soil. Same thing really happens with a container plant. The roots have to start rooting and establishing before the new growth. So if you get that plant rooted and established, and then along comes spring, March, April, May, that plant's already raring to go, as opposed to you're just now planting it in the ground, the air's getting hotter, it's stressful, the plant's losing moisture, the roots aren't established yet, and the roots are what supply moisture to the top. So that you have a little tiny root ball, the top's trying to grow. It's as opposed to having to plant. It's like getting a whole year's head start, really, on that plant if you plant it in the fall. Now, the one thing we have to be careful, because we've talked about several of them, are things that are cold sensitive, really subtropical things like bougainvilleas, particularly is what comes to mind. I'm not telling you to not plant those, but if you do this time of year, be prepared that I think covering and protecting big, mature bougainvilleas is kind of a waste of time, because I'm with you. It just forces you to prune them back the way you should anyway. But a newly planted bougainvillea that's not established could be severely damaged or even killed in a cold weather. So be prepared to protect them if you're going to plant them this time of year.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona homeowner.